peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here. Today I have a solo playthrough for Healthy Heart Hospital. This one is a hospital simulator game for 2 to 4 players, fully cooperative, so you can play solo. I'm playing 2 doctors. We are receiving patients into our hospital, doing our best to cure them. We also have an administrator character who is going to get us upgrades. All along the way, we are trying to raise money and cure as many people as possible before too many of them die. It is a re-implementation of Healthy Heart Hospital from Victory Point Games, moved over to Starling Games. I played the original once. I don't remember it too much, so I can't break down particular differences. However, I do know that the game has been streamlined a little bit. Some decks have been taken out, and the experience is somewhat more focused. However, the heart of the game comes from this bag. You have plenty of cues to be drawing from this bag to cure patients, to see how bad they get. So there is a fair amount of randomness, but there's also ways to mitigate that randomness. Ultimately, it's a family-friendly, tongue-in-cheek experience. Like you have Angie O'Graham, which is a pun. I always appreciate a good pun. Dr. McDreamy, who is from Grey's Anatomy, kind of a parody of that. So a bit of a lighthearted take on the topic with its fair share of randomness, but enough strategy to keep you going, especially as you move through the rounds. So let's get to the solo playthrough of Healthy Heart Hospital, but first some channel announcements. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, a gaming empire, and your home for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. All right, so we are just going to jump right into the first round of play. I'll play it slow, explain the rules. Once I get to the end, you'll have everything you need to know to get started with Healthy Heart Hospital. So every player is going to take a doctor. I have a 2-player setup right here. There are plenty of options. You are going to recognize many of your favorite doctors from different doctor shows, etc. Also, no matter what your player count, you're going to get 1 administrator with a variable amount of tokens, and they're going to provide another avenue of actions, and there are plenty of options for the administrator as well. For the administrator, that passes back and forth between players, so each player can have a chance to control the administrator, but I'm solo, I don't care. Anita Leach, you are mine. In terms of actually curing clients, which is where we're going to begin, that's where the doctors come in. Each doctor will take 4 actions, represented by these action tokens. So it isn't turn-based. So I don't have to do 1 action here, 1 action here. That is one thing I can do. However, if I really wanted to make a big play with Angie O'Graham, I could use 3 of their actions and then hop over to Dr. Dreamer, have them do actions. The turn order is a little bit more open that way. Every doctor has 2 different special abilities. So as an example, Angie O'Graham has a bonus when she treats in cardiology. I'll talk about that in a second. This bonus I'm actually going to do right now. Once per game is a free action. Assign 1 face-up training marker to this nurse. A couple of the doctors do this. I like that for newer players to kind of get them going right away. This is the boardroom. These are the training markers. You're going to have some that are face up and the rest that are face down. So anytime you take a training marker, you can take from either area. For the most part, training is going to be the responsibility of the administrator, and I'll demonstrate that down the road. But now Angie O'Graham comes in with her own training. She just finished her master's program in cardiology, and so she is going to take the bonus in the cardiology ward. And so here is the main section of the hospital where I have patients. They can either be in one of 5 infirmity wards representing different things: infectious disease, psychiatric, cardiology, trauma, really the 5 colors. And you also have these 2 waiting rooms that are laid out horizontally. I'll get to that in just a second. But Angie is very excited. She sees someone in the cardiology unit. They're not feeling very well. She's ready to help. So this is a patient, and they are going to progress in illness. So 1 is least severe, and then you get more severe, 2, 3, 4. If we ever were to have them reach 5 severity, then they would immediately pass on. They would go to the cemetery. One of the lose conditions is if my cemetery is full and I don't have room to quote unquote hide the body, then that is one of the lose conditions of the game. But we're not going to think about that. Angie O'Graham is on the case. So in this initial setup, we have the patient that begins at 3, and Angie is going to use one of her action tokens. She's going to flip it, indicating that's been used, and try to treat this patient. This is the heart of the game. If you know anything about Healthy Heart Hospital, or if you've seen videos or heard about it back in the day when it was first released, you know about the bag, the bag of cubes. In this version of the game, you see in the affirmative ward area, whenever I treat, you would pull this amount of cubes, which is 6. Keeping in mind, though, that I do not need to use the action. I need to pull the 6, and once I see what I have with the 6, then I can choose whether I want to pull that 7th cube or not. So let's go ahead and give this one a pull, and we are going to get out 6 cubes. So the only relevant cubes, these will just get discarded. We need this red cube, which is good, this black cube, which is bad. For every red cube that I pull, I could heal this patient 1, but for every black cube that I pull, they get 1 worse. So that's terrible. Angie O'Graham really hates the fact that she went into her room and did not leave with a healthier client. So she's going to try harder. She is going to go for her 7th cube draw and then get, ooh, look at that. She got her red. So because of those 7 cubes that were drawn, 2 red, 1 black, that makes for 1 healing. They get healed for 1, down to 2. And that is really good news. I have provided a service. So every time I treat a patient, I get $1 for every level they were healed, which is really important. A lose condition of the game is if this money marker goes down to 0. So the money tracker is going to play into the game's win condition as well. So I like to get to the 6 rounds, just having healed as many patients. The hospital didn't go broke. That's fine. But if you want to evaluate your score, there is a handy dandy chart in the rule book. So 0 to 19, that's not very good. If you end up with $80+ at the end, then you are triumphant. The hospital is very successful. You gain money by treating. You're going to spend money on upgrades. This is going to go back and forth. Try to get that thing as high as possible throughout the game. And so all the cubes that you use are going to get discarded. At the end of a full round of Healthy Heart Hospital, there's going to be plenty of cubes in here, which is going to give you information about what else is in the bag and what are your odds to draw stuff. So think of it like dice, but you can predict some of the probabilities that will affect your outcome. Another thing about the discard pile is that some people have powers, and Angie O'Graham, of course, has a power. After healing a cardiology patient, which you just did, may rebag 2 cubes. Let's go ahead and try to bring some more healthy healing to my cardiology patient. So I'm looking at my ward ability. It says lose $1 per patient in this ward. I check that at the end of the round. So if I have patients in here, I will lose $1. We don't want that. Angie O'Graham is on the case. So let's go ahead and use another action of hers, turn over another token, and pull another 6 cubes. But wait, before I do that, I want to consult my rooms. So I'm going to get 1 new room per round. I think in the older game you had to buy them and there was a whole kind of back and forth. Here, you just get 1 per round. There are plenty of choices. You choose one randomly. In addition, there's going to be ways to upgrade them and make them better. We'll get into that as we get into the playthrough. For now, let's check out the blood bank. It starts with 3 pre-selected cubes, not black, here, which represents the ability to kind of mitigate the luck a little bit. So I noticed that in the blood bank, there is 1 red cube. So as a power, I get to choose 1 red cube to be part of this pull, and then I pull 5 more cubes and see if I can get this patient healed. The administrator, as an action, can refill this. I can also improve this to get more slots. So the blood bank is a nice card to start with. So now we are going to go back in our bag, mix it up again, and get 5 cubes. What do I got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Discard all these blues and yellows. We got 1 red. I had pulled a red before. I got no blacks. So we get 1. You are cured. Be free. Woohoo! And for that cure and 2 treatments, I get to get 2 money. You would think you get something extra for actually curing the patient and getting them on their way, but just like in real medicine, no, you don't get it. It is just about the application of a successful treatment. And so that is treating patients in the infirmary ward. There's also the waiting room, which has a few different rules to it. So in the wards, the patients are represented by the discs. Here, they're represented by cubes. I have set that up randomly as a part of setup. So, but the patients generally work the same. They can go up to 5 severity. So this represents one patient that has a 1 severity illness. That's not so bad. You'll be waiting there a while. Here, this is a 3 severity patient. Same thing. If they get to 5, they're going to move on to the cemetery. We can't have that. However, I cannot treat anybody in the waiting room. That doesn't make any sense. I can't put the IV bags in here. I can't get the machinery, all that stuff. So we got to transfer them into the ward. So what angiogram is going to do for her third action, she's going to flip that action token. She is going to discard these 3 cubes and transfer them into the ward as a 3 severity patient. She has not been treated yet. However, they are in a hospital bed waiting for treatment. That's much better. And so I've used 3 actions with this doctor. Dr. Dreamy is ready to go. But before I do that, Anita Leach wants to step in and say, Dr. Dreamy, in order for you to be as effective as Angie, you need training. I'm too handsome to need training. Just look at me. You're going to take training anyway. I'm immune to your steely, love-filled gaze, at least for now. Anyway, we are going to use one administrator action. Research is how I get access to the upgrades. Like getting upgrades early, like hitting this deck early. It's not guaranteed that I'll get the upgrades, but it is worth a shot. So this is one action. For this action, I draw 5 cubes, and I can choose from among the following, depend on what I pull. So let's go ahead and just pull my 5 cubes right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's not a bad pull. If I had pulled black in this one particular case, it's good because you would discard the black and draw 2 more. It's also why I like getting that research action done early, but I did not pull a black. So let's see what happens. First, I can choose to flip. If I pulled a number of blue cubes, that many medical actions that are unused sides. I can improve a new room, reducing the cost by the number of yellow I pulled, or check the gray and pull that fewer total cubes for the waiting room next turn. So I got 2 green, red, a blue, and a gray. So that's how that works out. These cubes are useless. But I can flip one medical action back to its active side because I pulled 1 blue. No bonus for improving the new room, and 1 fewer total cubes next turn for the waiting room. That's a part of setup. I'll show that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and use this one because that's immediately useful now. Unflip 1 action token. So angiogram is back on the case. Yay! So that's one example of what the administrator can do. That is the research action. They can also hire staff. However, not in the first round. So there's 6 rounds in the game. In the first round, there are no staff. As I progress this marker, I'm going to release more of these different upgrades and buy them. The base cost is $5. They represent global upgrades that everybody can do for the hospital. I'm going to be interested in those, but not until next round. Her last option to do with this token flip is to do one of her 2 actions. So she can, if she wanted to, have flipped that token. You always have to flip the token during that one research action she did and draw 4 extra to kind of buff up that one particular research action. If you see a card, you flip it, you get the 4 more. Or I can restock an empty blood bank for free. My blood bank isn't empty. So now I have a choice with her. I can either use her, flip her card, flip her tile, use those blood bank cubes and then kind of refresh it close to the end of the round, or I can do another research action. You know what? Research actions are really good. Let's go for another one. All right, let's see what I get for some research. I can gain, training markers. And if I draw enough green cubes, that'll be a lot of training markers. Or I can get a bonus money, or I can draw 2 of whatever fewer cubes. Let's go ahead and let's draw from that bag. Hopefully this time I draw black. That'd be nice. Ooh, I did draw black and I drew some green. Oh, that's great. So the black gets immediately discarded, and then we draw two more from the bag, and we get a yellow. Ooh, I have choices here. One gray, the red is useless. Two green or six money. That's really tempting, but the training markers early are really, really good. So let's go ahead and distribute two training markers to my doctors. All right, rebag one after any heal action is excellent. I'm going to give that to Dr. Dreamy. And then whenever I take one face up, I replace it. That is one in the psychiatric ward. That's two of them right there. That's unfortunate. Having a little bit of the hard time in the internal medicine ward, and I don't have a power-up for that, so I can also choose to draw one of the face-down tokens. Let's go ahead and draw them and push our luck. One action, transfer two same color patients. That's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and give that to Angie because she is such a go-getter. Not going to transfer any more clients now, but that'll come in handy down the road. As far as transfers go, I can transfer out of the waiting room freely. Can't transfer into the waiting room. You don't want to do that. But can go to the infirmary wards. Also, eventually, I'm going to get new room upgrades, which are treatment rooms. So this would be kind of the improved psychiatric ward. So that would be another place where I can do some advanced treatments. I'll get into that as I get into the playthrough, but know that it is another place where I could do some advanced treatments and transfer clients. One thing to know about the transfers, though, I cannot transfer any character that is less than two. Too much to do. The hospital is too full. I have to be ready for anything. So you two cubes are just going to have to wait there. So Dr. Dreamy has patients in front of him. He knows what to do. Let's go ahead and turn over one action marker, borrow one green from the blood bank so that I get credited with a green in this pull. Let's pull from the bag and get no successes whatsoever, but at least I got the one treatment and I get my money, which is up to 19. I gave Dreamy the upgrade rebag one after a heal action. We see what's going on over here, and we are going to rebag a green and see if we can have more success. Not really all that successful. So I'm just pulling cubes, trying to cure patients as much as possible, using my action, the third. Oh, and by the way, rebag. Let's go ahead and get another green in there and pull another six. One, oh, that's much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And not a black. 6. Oh, that's great. So cures can go anywhere in the ward. So let's just focus on this one. I got 3, 2, 1. You are cured, sir. Hey, what about me? You've proven highly resistant to my treatments. You sit there. I'll get back to you in a second.
But wait a minute. You were supposed to have chosen the patient first. So I think you chose me before you pulled out 3 cubes.
Well, I chose him first for those 3 cubes. That's too bad.
Hey, I called my practice.
So yes, the rule says I was supposed to have specifically chosen a patient before I drew my cubes, but let's assume that I hopped over to this client, treated them, and maybe with my last action, if I feel like it, I will address this person's needs. We'll see. But for that 3 treatment, we get 1, 2, 3, and Dr. Dreamy gets a bonus +2 when Dream cures a patient, which is 24, 25. Fantastic. We are going to rebag a green just for all that. And Dr. Dreamy is a professional, darn it. He's going to go back and finish what he started, perhaps. 1 green, 1 black. No other things that I can do.
Oh, sad face, Dreamy. You're not so dreamy. I don't like you.
But wait a minute. You're so handsome. He really is handsome. I'm happy to stay here another year. Thank you. And so after that action, Dr. Dream put 1 blue cube back in the bag because Angie has 2 more actions left. She's going to try to treat this patient. So we have our familiar pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. 2 blue. We go down to 1 on that one. 25, 23. There we go. 27. She doesn't have a snazzy one for the cure. So for this very last action, I might as well go ahead and take this 1 from the blood bank. So all I am doing is looking for the black cubes to not mess with me. So I was supposed to pull 5 more. Overcame that, have enough blue cubes. They are treated. And the money moves to 28. No snazzy bonus, but I will absolutely take it. All right, so now all my actions are used. We go into the end phase. First of all, you check to see if there are patients in the advanced treating rooms, such as the trauma room. Had I let them go into critical, they would die. That'd be bad. But there were no treating rooms, so I don't have to worry about that. Look at all those cubes that I ended up with in a discard pile. There's 88 of them. And so for each waiting room, of which there are 2, you draw 6. Ooh, oh boy. I got that good green pull on the heel and a terrible green pull on that. And in addition, so I play out those 6, and this black cube gets discarded, and I draw 2 more from the bag. Oh, 2 level 4s right away. Trauma. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that again. Oh, this is like a terrible episode of ER where just a flood of terrible things are happening in the neighborhoods. So we have 2 blacks, which means I draw 4 extra cubes from the bag, and they multiply. So if I draw 4 more black, or any more black, then I would get some more stuff happening. So we have 1 right there, right there, and there. So no one died. Yes, you can have that. The luck of the game is such where you can just have a patient be DOA. This I forgot to mention. Anytime you have a patient die on you, you have to settle their malpractice, their liability, so you lose $10. So I did not lose $10 on that pull, but I have some things to do on my next round. So the next thing that happens is the infirmity ward trigger. So normally you would pull 1 cube from the bag for each patient, and if it matches, you would worsen their illness. This particular ward ability says draw 2. So I drew 2, I did get 1, so they get worse by 1. So then I draw 1 cube and I ignore a black, so that's nice. But I did not get lucky. Boy, that's really bad. And for this one, you don't draw a cube, they just get worse. Why did I let Dreamy convince me to stay here? I regret my decisions. You lose $1 per patient in this ward. That's why I made sure to clean that out. The turn marker moves over to the next round. We reveal 2 of these staff tokens. So 1 potential power, flip the admin card face up once per round. Wow, that's really nice. So I could use their special ability and then have it for another action. That's just action economy. That's worth it. Also, may transfer all level patients, not just the 3 severity. Not as useful, maybe, I'm not sure. But if I have a bunch of free transfers, I'll think about it. So those are available to buy with my administrator actions next round. Final thing, unflip your actions. If the administrator was flipped, you flip them back and then you give them to the next player, but I'm playing solo, so who cares? I am ready to begin my second round. At this point, you know everything you need to know to get started for Healthy Heart Hospital. Let's get into the rest of the playthrough. There is actually one more thing that I forgot to mention in terms of adding a new room. That happens during that end phase, so I apologize for pinning it here at the end. Also, I misstated and said that they get chosen randomly. That is incorrect. You choose them. Whoa, look at all these options. Might be a little bit overwhelming for a newer player, but a lot of the rooms do a similar thing, so it's not so bad. And then you have a situation like this, a break room, administrator receives 1 extra administrative action token. That's easy. So let's go ahead and use get the break room. I have that active for my round 2. I have another action. I'm going to use it immediately and buy this action, which is to flip the admin card face up once per round so I can do her admin action twice. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have well-qualified doctors who are extremely handsome and have wonderful names. However, this is the Anita Leach show. She gets all of the benefits. Let's go ahead and do another action and do her research. The research is, during a research action, I can draw 4 additional cubes, then flip this card. And so technically, I don't have to declare that until I get my initial 5. However, I have a feeling that I'm going to want to do this. So let's go ahead and turn this over. I could gain training markers. That's awesome. I can improve a room. That's awesome. Or I could replace patient markers of deceased patients with white. That's not until later in the game, kind of conserving the regular tokens. So let's see what happens. So we got 5 tokens. Oh, yeah. We have yellow. Yeah, I'm going to want to do that. Let's go ahead and pull the additional 4. Let's see if I can get at least one more. What? All right, so I emptied the thing of gray. That's not very useful to me. That's useless. Let's go ahead and improve a room by 10 and reduce the cost by 3 times 2 so that it'll be 4 total for a room upgrade. So hiring that staff brought me down from 28 to 23. Now I am down to 19. Hopefully I don't have too many patients die on me because I'm spending money like crazy. Go ahead and flip this blood bank. We are going to go from 3 to 5 cubes. As soon as that gets flipped, I get to pull another 5 cubes, ignoring black. So now I get to lead my attempts to cure patients with 1 cube. I can't just pull a whole bunch, but that is going to be a nice start for me. So while I'm here, let's just go ahead and use her last action of the round and add the 4 cubes if I think it is worth it. So the effects of the research cards are pretty standard. There's not too many of them, so you'll get used to them after a couple of card pulls. Discard that many illness level 1 cube patients. Okay, I got 3 of them. See if I can get up there. Decrease 1 patient's illness level by green. Woohoo. So some of these 4s might be good. And then flip some medical action tokens. They're all unflipped, so I'll ignore that for now. Oh, sorry about that. That should be out. So we got 2 gray. That's no good. And a green. Oh, greens are good. Yellow's no good. And blue's no good. So that's terrible. So I have nothing else to do with our flip condition. So let's go ahead and pull 4 more cubes. Okay, that's a little bit more promising. So that black gets discarded. I get to pull 2 more. Green and a red. Ooh, okay, I think my choice is pretty obvious over here. Let's go ahead and decrease 1 patient's illness level by 3. That's going to be you. I don't have any real way to treat you. You're already at 4. So let's go ahead and spin you down to 1. Much better. Dr. Dreamy says, I can make you feel even better than that. Oh, doctor, you're exactly what I thought I was getting when I came to this hospital. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we have cured her, getting me 1, and Dr. Dreamy has 2. When they cure somebody, he is going to make the rounds. I can't believe I listened to you the first time. Get me out of here. Let's rebag 1 of the green and see if I can actually cure this patient with Dr. Dreamy. So let's take 1 from the blood bank and consult the rest of my bag. And that is a total of 2. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you. Wow, 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 wow. I have no idea why I made that Dr. Dreamy song. 2 for the treatment, 2 for the cure. You see that, Anita? Don't it deserve a raise? Oh, you're such a pig, but you're so good at what you do. I'll think about it. So it's time for Angie O'Graham to step into the fray. She got that power up that said that she can, for 1 action, transfer 2 same color patients. Darn it, Dreamy, what are you doing? Look what's happening in the waiting room. We have to take care of these patients. Stat! I'll be right behind you. You go ahead and you take care of business. Oh, if you didn't bring us so much money, I would have you fired for insubordination and all sorts of worse things. But I do bring in that much money, doll. This is getting so uncomfortable. Let's keep this professional, shall we? So a grand total of 2 level 4 clients are transferred to the ward for 1 action token. Let's go ahead and get started with the treatment. So as you can see, the bag is fairly thin. I can look at this at any time. There's not a ton of blue in there, but I have some blood bank tokens. I have 2 on there, so I'm going to treat twice, and I'm going to use the blue token each time. So let's go ahead and pull 5 to complement this blue, and we got 3 blue but a black. So that is 2 treatment total. 3, 2. That stabilizes things, gets me to 28. And Angie's going to rush over to this other bed to make sure that this patient is nice and stabilized. So let's go ahead and use that 1 from the blood bank and get 2, but a black. And so that person is treated for 1. Jamie, what are you going to do about this? Help me, please. Jamie says, no way, doll cakes. I can count how many cubes are in the bag. I have no chance of actually healing anybody on blue. However, you, green internal medicine person, let's go ahead and wheel you out to the wards. You're going to help me, Dreamy? Oh, thank you. Not a problem. So that is their 2 last action tokens. There are actually 5 green cubes in the bag, which is why I calculated that move. There are indeed very few cubes in the bag. The green happen to be the most numerous ones. Let's go ahead and take a pull. Yeah! They don't call me superstar for nothing, baby doll. Thank you. Thank you, Dreamy. I can go back to my husband. Or do I want to go back to my husband? Sorry, sister. I'm married. Let him know that Dr. Dreamy was the one that treated you, though. Oh, yeah. Calculating odds for the win. Let's go ahead and give myself 4 for that treatment and 2 for the cure. And look what I did for you, doll. You got 1 cube left in there, and then you can pull the rest from the discard pile. So you'll get at least 1 treatment for that blue client. You're welcome. Oh, why does he get all the glory all the time, and I get nothing? I wouldn't worry about it too much, Angie. I see your efforts. Just go in there and do the best you can with that patient. So as you saw, the bag only had 3 left, so I put everything else in the bag, and I get to draw 3 more. That is gonna, wow. You just came out of nursing school. You're gonna be a great doctor one day. A great doctor like me? Wink. Ugh, what a pig. Since this is Dr. Dreamy's world and we're all just living in it, let's go ahead and take his favorite room, the emergency room. This takes 1 overflow patient if they were to get 5 or more cubes in the waiting room, which is going to happen on the poll right now. Or it may not happen, just call it a hunch. So let's go ahead and get our 6. And, it happened again! Oh, see, it giveth and taketh away. So immediately, that person's husband comes in wanting revenge. Let's go ahead and discard that one and get 2 more. Oh boy, this is not good news. At least it takes the black cubes out for treating, but man, this really puts me behind the 8 ball. Oh no! Now, normally that would mean death. But instead, thank goodness, I put in the emergency room. Please, anybody but Dr. Dreamy. You know it's my shift in the emergency room, right? No! All right, so I could only fit 1 there. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So, very close to happening again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that patient arrives DOA. That is part of the RNG of the game. Discard all of these cubes and get 1 dead patient marker. Can't do that very often. Not only do I not want to fill this, that takes me down from 34 to 24. All of McDreamy's work down the drain. All right, so these 2, there is no pull for that. I do pull for this patient over here who could be a 5. It is not a 5. I forgot about you. That's not good news at all. Nothing happens over here. If I had built the treatment room, which is an advanced room, the trauma ward, I would be able to get a free transfer out of that. Might go ahead and build that at another point. Last thing to do on the turn, the hospital marker hits the 3rd round. We can, -2 to funeral costs. That's like planning for disaster right there. Wow, the choices are not plentiful. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a cat, the hospital cat. On to round 3. All right, so Dreamy's bonus is that they can pull 3 extra cubes when healing in the emergency room. In the emergency room, you pull 5 cubes ordinarily, but Dreamy gets 8. Also, when this patient goes under 5 at all, they get immediately transferred to the emergency ward, which is good because if they were to end the round in the emergency room, they would die. I don't want you to die. I love all my patients, even the ones who aren't so good to their woman.
What are you talking about, Dreamy? No, don't treat me! Don't treat me!
Stop struggling, and I can actually treat you a lot better than you treat your wife. So these 5 get discarded. They are traded down to 4, become a patient. And because I'm good to all my patients, I'm going to go ahead and rebag this green and try again. Thank you for taking care of my ulcer, Dreamy. I still won't forgive you for showing my wife what a real man should treat a woman like. Just hold still, and I'll be able to give you the best treatment I can. You better treat my wife well. Dun 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 dun. Mr. Lonely Heart, we have lost them, and the hospital is on the hook for that. They go all the way down to 14. You saw him struggle. He didn't listen to a word I said. What's the lesson here? Always listen to Dr. Dream. How is it possible for this guy to constantly fail upward? All right, Dreamy, I've had enough of it. You need some more training. Hopefully I pull a card that allows us to do exactly that. No. Discard some patients, unflip some medical tokens, or improve a room. All right, so we have to discard some patients. We can unflip some medical tokens, or we can get a new room. So as you can see, these add up fairly quickly. So let's go ahead and take care of as many as I can take care of. That required flipping the card, getting the extra tokens. So we are going to go ahead and unflip her. So let's go ahead and do another research action. And hopefully this one is either training or improve a room so that I can use my last token to add those 4. It is both. And it's higher staff, although the staff out sucks right now. But I will try my luck at that. And that is a very good result for me. So we have 2 training markers, and we're going to use that last one to pull 4 more cubes. Hopefully I pull a black one this time. That would be nice. Okay, so that's all garbage, but I do pull 2 more from the bag. Yes! I'm able to get that 3rd training token. Now we are ready to save some patients. And so let's make sure that Dr. Dreamy is better in the wards. So we have 1 for the psychiatric ward and 1 in the trauma ward, which I really need. Pulling over from the face ups, I'm able to see rebag 1 after a heal action. You see how useful that is, especially when the bag is nice and thin, which you see happens every single round. You have a lot of control over what's in here. Very powerful. Now my doctors are loaded for bear. So Dreamy is going to use 1 action with their improved trauma carrying capacity and pull his 6 cubes. He is going to pull 2. Ooh, that's pretty good. And we had picked this one, so we are going to go 1, 2, and treat that person. Oh, I am back on the saddle. My mojo is back, baby. That brings me up to 18. And for their last action of the turn, Big Dreamies actually, let's go ahead and pull 6 cubes. And unfortunately, Dreamy is not in the saddle. We have 1 hurt, which would ordinarily heal them, but they have the trauma ward pull, which does help. So Dreamy does not make things worse. I'm going to go ahead and take credit for that extra training. Thank you very much. Angie is going to take this patient and transfer them to the cardiology ward. That's what she went to grad school for. So she is going to excitedly try to treat that person. And so they are going to use that 1 red cube from the blood bank and draw up to 6. Ooh, they get 2. She is feeling more and more confident by the day. And she got that rebag power, which puts the red cube back in the bag. Good chance of drawing it again because there's so few cubes in here, but there's also a chance of pulling the black cube. She did draw the black cube. That is a null turn. There's 1 cube left, so you might as well draw it. And that puts all of the other cubes back in the bag. And so for her last cure of the turn, she's going to go ahead and successfully treat this patient, getting 1 coin. She's not cool like Dreamy, getting extra coins on her pulls. And at this point, I am going to call the playthrough about halfway through. So these are more iterations of global powers. You can imagine what they are: extra actions, extra money, etc. Would get 3 new rooms. The enemy phase, quote unquote, the patients coming in, that phase does not change. So it's basically 6 rounds of mostly the same thing. Things get worse because it's just more cubes out, but you have more ways of dealing with it, more training, more staff, etc. I sincerely hope this playthrough gave you everything you need to know to see if Triple H, Healthy Heart Hospital, is a good fit for your gaming table and your gaming group. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop. Brian, and we'll see you at the next stop. And you'll see me too, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is so disgusting. Can we fire him? He's so good at what he does. Look how much money he raised. Ugh, the patriarchy.